originally for my sins, I was in telemarketing for about 20-something years and began to run my own company.
So you're quite used to people putting the phone down on you then?
Yes, exactly. So I got completely fed up with that and decided I wanted to go and be a writer. And I thought, well, in order to do that, I need to support myself. What can I do with my current skill set? And I decided, people had said to me, you should be a voiceover artist. So I thought, well, I'll see what happens. I'll give it a go and support myself, get into voiceovers while I do the writing. And that's kind of what I did. And then obviously the Speaking Clock gig came along somewhere in the middle of that. And everything was given a massive boost, which was rather lovely.
How accurate's your watch? Are you ever late?
Oh, you're not going to believe this. I don't wear a watch. I don't wear a watch. However, I have to say I am a real stickler for being on time. Not because I hate letting people down from being late by being late, but I think it was my father, as I was a teenager, drummed into me that I had to be home, I don't know, by 11 o'clock or whatever, not a minute past. So I'm always very, very aware of the time. But I stopped wearing a watch because I was getting so reliant on looking at it and checking the time so often that it became a bit of a noose around my neck, so I stopped wearing one.
You have a very, very distinctive voice. Do you get noticed and recognised?
Not really. If somebody finds out I'm a voiceover artist, they may say, oh yes, your voice does sound familiar. And they may hear me doing something, say, oh, are you the voice of, I don't know, Customs and Excise or Air Miles or this, that and the other. But I don't think anybody is, apart from when I got the gig and people had seen me on TV and heard me on the radio, and I did get a few people coming up to me and saying, gosh, aren't you the Speaking Clock? And I'd say, yeah, that's me. But I don't think anybody has randomly come up and said, do you know you sound just like the Speaking Clock? So I'm waiting for that to happen. That would be quite exciting.
And the system itself, how does it work? Because our assumption is that it is correct to the second. But I mean, you can't surely sit there and speak every time possible, can you?
No, what happens is, and it's a very common misconception because, how do these things work? But what happens is there are about 79 different announcements. If you think about it, you only have to say each time once, so 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 10 seconds and 20 seconds and precisely. And really, I only need to read those out once, and then the engineers go and splice them all together to make the, whatever it is, 3,000-4,000 time checks every single day.
And how long do you think you'll carry on doing it? Have you got a contract duration, or is it just indefinite?
It's indefinite. I mean, Jane Kane, I think the first one was something like 21 years. Pat Simmons, who was after her, was about 27 years. Then there was Brian Cobby, my predecessor, who was 22 years, and I took over him, in fact, at 22 years precisely. I took over from him. So if it's another 20-odd years, then fantastic. That would be really, really good. And weirdly enough, Brian Cobby lives not a quarter of a mile away from me. So it's really quite bizarre.